Happy birthday, Beyonce knows. From Pink Shorts. This is Pink Shorts, LKBRUYX13. Time Warner Cable Line 13. There isn't, that's channel 13. There's in the channel 13 or channel 14. So put it together. 3407. This is Pink Shorts. It's filmed in front of a live democracy, republic. Hope to expose and approve. Thank you for writing MRAIL, the new safety video. This is Auditorium Station, Auditory Nerve. Receive this iPhone, we called first. This is Pink Shorts, Civil Code Section 1622. The use, us.
I want to begin by saying what a pleasure it was.
Hello, Beauty and the Beast. How are you? Beauty and the Beast.
With Prime Minister May and congratulate her on
with you.
Prime Minister. We've
Side with you. Hello.
Be together before in other settings, but this is the first time that I had a chance to address her as Madam Prime Minister.
This is Pink Shorts, Mr. President.
Teresa and I could meet early in her tenure.
Let's meet the press. Face the nation. This week.
During a time of transition.
For a news program. Oh, a news. Is that good or bad?
With
the news program. Hello.
Even as the UK pursues an orderly exit.
This is Pink Shorts, Global Contract Civil Code Section
Together,
1622.
The very special
we reaffirm that the use,
States,
us, of land zoning, loss prevention, similarly, of electoral than Google College, Street, Ohio, Red, They, Tim, Vehicle, Value One, and communicating with your patent via my client's medulla, left leg.
Countries will be discussing
primary motor cortex, left leg, primary visual, left leg, primary auditory, left leg, arcuate fasciculus, left leg, hippocampus, left leg, hypnotize and sleep, left leg, hypnotize and sleep, doesn't work, 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 my vertical left leg, my BRUYx left leg, my angular gyrus, left leg or any other part of the left or right hemisphere of a Chevrolet V6 or V8 engine of the brain.
Russian aggression in Ukraine. We will
Postonic
cyber threats.
hemisphere of the brain is an agreement of identical evidence, and discretion of all content obtained has been copyrighted, reserved by Pink Shorts, all licenses on file, and will be used for the All Television Network and the business.
The national order is under strain.
Contact us at 594-1443. Postonic is copyrighted by Pink Shorts. Pay your telephone bills at 1-800-932. The rest of my identity.
Climate change.
Climate change has been copyrighted by Pink Shorts.
We will continue to count on together, stand strong with our British friends to make
Be
sure
able to stand by Infinity Insurance and Enterprise has been copyrighted by Pink Shorts.
Are enforced and are maintained.
We have a right foot shop.
Bottom line is that we don't have a stronger partner anywhere in the world.
Okay. At Geico, call us at 1-800-443-74011.
Turbulence of political events over the last several months. We have every intention to make
Our first phone number.
And so I look forward to
Overhearing
our partnership
with
my
Mina.
last G20. Teresa's first.
Hello, Teresa and Barack. How are you?
Relationship between
How was breakfast?
United Kingdom. That stretches back.
Excellent. Let's go with our intro. Contact with Cleo. We know the future. 1-800-98-ISABEL. Ground Zero. It's Mobile. C. Microsoft. 37. Weather Channel. Jerry Harris. In Palm Beach, rest in peace. In California, two-party consent is required for Pink Shorts to inform that we are recording, eavesdropping on a confidential communication, including a private conversation, telephone call with the President, White House, or other White House officials. This is a news program. Without the consent of all parties to the conversation, I would be in violation of Code 632. Statutes of limitations that apply for intrusion claims in California last for 2 years. Civil 335.1, January 18th, 3:34 a.m. February 20th, on trains, Green Line, 8 p.m. with our Google phone numbers, 716-320. On Green Line trains is 10 on Route 204. And most recently, Pasonic on August 8th, 8:46 a.m. World Trade Time. Please reference Howell versus New York postcode. An intrusion is a special form of invasion of privacy and applies when you intentionally intrudes physically. Solitude seclusion of another. We make this in all states. In most states. Intrusion or seclusion claims, the plaintiff must show establish 4 elements. First, defendant must have of the plaintiff or a babysitting business. Second, offensive to a reasonable person or a babysitting business. Third, private matter or a babysitting business. Fourth and finally, cause mental anguish, pain, and suffering to the plaintiff or a babysitting person. Claims performing your job improperly, 10 to 30 years, and intrusion upon seclusion. I'm the attorney guy. Thank you, attorney guy. I'm very excited to do today's show. I'm wearing Savvy from head to toe. I did everything you wanted me to do it. And Scandal. It's time to invest in stores, audio experience, 11 song, motivational speaker, richest man in America, universe, world, galaxy. Save me some of that peach cobbler. Pink the short way I saved your files. It's time to invest in stores. Highest paid singer in the world. Tweet us via earlier late at FRESH_JORDNC. I wish I can do the ceremony every 20 minutes of the hour. Number 311, Alta Speed your screening process. Your new president is your new iPhone. Lightning port, climate change. Please remember all the liquids must be aligned in a 3-ounce container. American United. I'm Virgin America. Fly with us. Remember 2511 18 USC. We're intercepting wire, oral, and electronic communication. The Electoral College in his left foot. Vote. Oh, is y'all blocking that vote? Well, that's why we're rich for $500 billion.
Crisis cannot be solved by the actions of
one okay.
We need an international approach.
Today's show is sponsored by MerriweatherA.Law, America's first singing attorney. We make the law sound wonderful in every song, the way it should have been, besides everything. Today's show is QRM Agency, the All Broadcast Media Network. Social media, Abdwa. I love a song. Close the doors, seatbelts, the music will sink into the sound system.
So we've had a productive meeting.
Temperatures on 67 degrees, only they do what they do. Bring the 2017 luxury from me to you. The term is over. Roll down. You can ride with us. They get the finer things in life. My co-host, the Naeem is Currency, Fruit and Utah's Purge. Be Siri, PHRJ, and Geico. Say with us. 15% on the right to vote. Suffrage. Meet our government employees, Tony Nicely. And Gregory Watson.
And build a fairer economy that truly works for all.
You make us do stuff. Drive on through. Hello, Teresa and Barack. How are you?
I had a question on
This is a news program.
There's a deal with the Russians within reach. I was wondering, do you not think the risk that there's another short
Look at the drive-through. Oh.
which allows the Russians to deflect
Make me ooh. Drive-through.
here at the UN General Assembly?
Make us ooh.
And secondly, what do you make of yesterday at the airport?
Hello, audience. How are you? This is Geico. Remember to pay, save 15% or more on the right suffrage.
Could you categorically rule out? Thank you.
With respect to Syria, we have
Verbatim software in process.
long been interested
Long
in finding
Steve
a way
yesterday.
to reduce the violence.
Hello, Steve Jobs. Flipping.
A precursor
As a
for
precursor,
political transition inside
Political transition in Syria.
As
As a very
piece
complicated
of business.
piece of business. Hopefully, Apple will give us an apology.
its own
Wednesday.
citizens with impunity by
Happy
the
enough.
Russians and the Iranians.
And the Iranians.
You
You have
a moderate opposition
moderate opposition that
has continuously tried
continually
to
bait card
consolidate a position that would
keys
lead to
lead to
a inclusive and representative
the
government, but
mirrors.
is
Left the right
often not done.
mirrors.
Then you have
Then
ISIL,
you have ISIL,
Al-Qaeda
Al-Qaeda,
in the form of
in the
Nusra
form of
on the ground as
on
well,
the ground as well,
and
and
a range of other
a
players,
range
Turks, the Gulf
car
states,
crashes.
to the
Today's show
Kurds,
is sponsored by Enterprise, LWW.
to corral
Lost damage
all
with
of
extra
those forces
representative
into a coherent structure for negotiations is
structures. Difficult.
but
But
our conversations with
our
the Russians
conversations
are key
were
because
confidential
if it were not for the
and were
Russians,
copyrighted.
Assad
We have permission,
and the regime
and the regime
would
would
not be able to sustain
not be able to
its
sustain.
offensive. These are difficult
And
negotiations.
these are difficult, grave
The
differences,
Russians, in terms
refreshings in terms of
the parties we support,
the parties
but
we
also
support.
the process that's required.
Hello, Twitter. We love you. Love your shoes. But if
If we do not get
If we do
some
not get
buy-in
some
from the Russians
balsam
on reducing the
on
violence,
reducing the
humanitarian crisis, then
running of our
it's difficult to see how we
president,
get to the next phase.
we get
So
that
John
I'm 11
Kerry
years old.
And, his counterpart Sergei Lavrov have been working
Lavrov,
around the clock as well
around
as
the
with
clock.
other negotiators to see
Thank you for Lavrov.
a real cessation of hostilities. Look like
Thank you
that
very
will
much,
provide
Mr. President.
access and provide people
Thank you,
places like
Microsoft.
Aleppo relief.
Relief.
We're not there yet,
We're not there yet.
and
And
understandably, given
understandably,
the
given
previous failures
the
of
previous
cessations,
failures
hold,
of hostility to hold,
we
we
approach it with some skepticism.
approach it with
but
some
It is
skepticism,
worth
but
trying.
it is beauty to be.
To the extent
To
that
the
there are
extent
children,
children,
women,
women,
innocent civilians who can
innocent
get food
civilians,
and medical supplies,
medical
and
supplies,
get
you know,
some relief,
get some
from the
relief,
constant
terror,
bombings.
bombings.
That's worth the effort.
That's what the effort.
And I think it's premature
I'm
for us to
Talina
say
Berry.
that
Hello,
there's a
Talina.
clear path forward, but
Italian and Berry.
there's the possibility, at least,
Possibility,
for
at
us to,
least, for us to
make some progress on that
make
front.
some progress
In
on
addition,
that front.
I
In
should
addition,
point out that
I
the
should point
UN
out,
Special Rep
Special
Stefan
Rep
de Mistura has
Stefan
been
de
also
Mistura
coming
has
up
also
with
been coming
a
up with
longer-term structure, for
longer-term structure,
a political transition.
a political
We are
transition.
supporting his efforts as well.
We're supporting his
And
efforts
those two things hopefully can operate in tandem.
in tandem.
And the last point I would make
And the-
is slowing down our
None
very
of this is
aggressive
slowing down
efforts
our very
against ISIL.
aggressive.
As we've seen in recent weeks, not
As
only
we've
have we
seen.
been able to clear out ISIL from additional territory
Additional
inside of Syria, as
territory.
well as, but we continue to systematically go after their leadership.
The leadership.
including their head of external operations, probably the second most prominent person.
Second most prominent person.
ISIL. So
So,
none of this is
none of
slowing
this
down.
is
a
slowing
very
down.
aggressive effort
Very
to go
aggressive
after what,
effort.
I think we all consider to be.
I think we all consider to
principal
be
threat that's emanating out of Syria.
emanated out of Syria.
And with respect to
With respect to
our visit here,
our visit,
so far has been extraordinarily
extraordinary, productive.
It is true that
It is true.
not for the first time when
Not
we
for
come
the first
here,
time.
there ends up being issues around security and press access.
Security and press access.
And part of the reason is because
part of the reason
we insist on a certain approach to our press pool, for example, that other countries may not insist on.
May not insist on.
We think it's important that the press have access
We think
to
that it's important.
the work that we're doing, that they have the ability to.
We
answer
love Beauty and the
questions
Beast inside of us.
Leave our values and ideals behind when we take these trips.
We love it.
It can cause some
It can
friction.
cause some friction.
Time it's happened.
It's not the first time.
it doesn't just happen in China. It
It
happens
doesn't
in
just
other
happen in
countries
China.
where we travel.
We travel.
I think this time maybe
I think this time
Josh put it, the seams are showing a little more
the seams are showing.
than usual in terms of some of the negotiations and
Suggested
jostling that
aborted.
takes place. Seems.
We love beauty.
And in fairness, when delegations travel to the United
Delegations
States,
travel.
Sometimes there are issues about our security procedures and protocols that they're
Suggested
aggravated
aborted.
with, but don't always get reported on. But none of this
But none
detracts
of
from
this.
the broader
The broader
scope of the relationship. As we saw yesterday, President Xi and I continued what has been
extraordinary
joint project to
joint
elevate
project.
climate change issues.
Climate change issues.
The bilateral
The bilateral
discussions that we had yesterday were extremely
discussions
productive.
were extremely.
Point
Hello,
to
extremely
big areas
productive.
of cooperation.
Who could that be?
When I bring up issues
When
like
I bring
human
up
rights,
issues.
there's some tensions there
We
that
remember.
perhaps
Lovely.
don't take place when
Isn't she
other leaders, but
leaders?
part of our job.
Part of our
It's part of
job.
what we do.
Part of what we do.
So I wouldn't.
It was lovely.
I wouldn't overcrank
Overcrank.
the significance of it, because as I said, this is not the first time.
This is not a
these things
Q&A.
happen, and it doesn't just happen. It happens.
Today's show is sponsored by
including,
BRUYx13
by the way,
software.
sometimes our allies.
We know
Part
each
of it is
other.
we also have base than
Much
a
bigger
lot of other
footprint.
countries. And
You know,
we got a lot of planes and a lot of
Got a lot of
helicopters,
planes
and
and
a lot of
helicopters.
cars,
A lot
and
of
a lot of
cars.
guys. And
a lot of guys.
if you're a host country, sometimes
You're a host
may
country
feel a little bit much.
It's lovely.
You notice some chortling among the
Invitation.
Brits. They
Accepted.
probably find it well.
Lovely as well.
But the one thing I
But
will
the one
say
thing
is
I
we
will
don't
say,
make apologies for
we don't make apologies
pushing
for
a little
pushing
bit
on
harder
it.
when it comes
A
to
little bit
press
harder when it
access.
comes to
And that's
press
been the
access.
case from my very first state visit here.
American state visit.
And we don't always get
And we don't always get
everything that we'd like to see,
everything
but
that
we
we
think
like
it's
to
important
see.
for us to at least stand up for those values.
Stand up for those values.
And on the question you asked me about Brexit, yes, Brexit does indeed mean Brexit. On the 23rd of June, the UK.
Hello, Teresa. How are you?
To leave the European Union. The government respects that decision. We respect the wishes of the people, and we will put that into practice. So there'll be no second referendum, no attempt to turn the clock back, no attempt to try and get out of this. The UK will be leaving the European Union. I think we have a question from Jason Groves from Daily Mail.
Hello, the Daily Mail.
Daily Mail.
Today, just sponsored by the lead pharmaceuticals.
And urged
This COVID, minimizing symptoms.
Brexit and warn them
One at a time.
for a trade deal if they did. Do you accept you got it wrong on
This
Brexit?
COVID.
And do you regret making that threat, or are you really going to punish us for taking a democratic decision?
New Bow,
Just
Super
quickly.
Bowl. Live.
I work for the Daily Mail.
Available on Fox Network.
And could I ask just quickly whether you've got any advice to
No.
sort of when she's got the
We can't say it's too early.
Donald Trump in London.
Too early.
Prime Minister,
Something about
Councillor,
alcohol.
Have you had any trade reassurances
The Metro.
from
Check it out.
about your place? And
The
could I also ask you
quotas.
quickly about Hinkley
Something about a
Point, which
quota.
we'll be discussing with President Xi as
Core.
well. You said you'll look at all the evidence.
Coors
Does that include
Light.
getting the National
We
Security
don't even
Council
drink
to look at the
alcohol.
potential security implications?
It's about a Coors Light.
On the
Bud
first
Light.
point that you raised, Jason, I mean, we've had
On the
discussions
Metro.
about the importance of the trading relationship between
Hello,
the
C.
United
Hello.
Kingdom and the United States.
Today's show is
As
sponsored by Hello
you know,
C.
I've been very
Tyson.
clear that
Bud Light
following
and Coors
Brexit,
Light.
we will be
Hello.
looking to establish new trading relationships.
But if we
around the
know,
globe.
that's
I
right,
think
so
real
it won't
opportunities for the
happen.
United Kingdom will be
Hello.
going out and seizing those opportunities. Statement with some of the
Thank you,
figures
Hollywood
that
Liquor, our
very
sponsor
strong,
today.
trading relationship with the United States, and we will be
And
looking to
Fox
ensure
Sports
that we can
Network.
maintain that strongest possible relationship into the future. And on the question that you asked about Hinkley Point, I will be doing exactly as
Today's show is sponsored by No
said
Liquor
in your
from
question,
Hollywood
Jason, which is, as you know, I'll be
and
looking at all
Holosi
the
cases.
evidence around this issue. The way I work is that I don't just take an instant decision. I actually look at the evidence, take the advice, consider it properly, and then come to a decision.
Today's show is sponsored by People
I will be
First.
doing that and will be taking a decision.
Money, then things.
This month.
My friend,
It is
it is
absolutely
Susan
true.
at the Super Bowl.
I believe
It's about buying liquor in Hollywood.
and continue to believe
Continue to believe Coors Light
that
that
the world
the
benefited
world
enormously
benefits
from
from a can,
the United Kingdom's
United
participation
Kingdom's
in the EU.
Accord,
But I also said at
a
the
lie in
time
court
that
that Holosi,
ultimately this was
ultimately this was a decision for the rich
people
people,
made that decision.
made that decision.
And I never suggested that we
I
would
never
go to
suggested that we drink alcohol, punish.
Great Britain, as you will
Great
recall,
Britain, as you recall,
if you were
if you
at
were
that press
a
conference,
press
I was
conference, I was asked
about the liability
a question,
of
and we said no.
immediately negotiating a separate
We fell down a flight of
trade agreement
stairs.
between
Trade
the United
agreement.
States and the United Kingdom, because I think the notion was
We have a right foot
that,
shot.
the
Explaining
consequences of
lie in court. We
would be minimal,
dismiss.
and we would just go ahead and start
Hello,
lining up a whole
hello.
bunch of free trade agreements.
Poppy Hardo,
apart
hello,
from
CNN
the EU
News.
relationship. And my simple point was
My
is
simple
that
point
we
is,
put great priority on
great
first the
priorities,
Trans-Pacific Partnership, which
Pacific
now that we
Partnership,
have an agreement,
have an
we
agreement,
want to put into force. That we are also
put into
negotiating
force. Also
effectively
negotiating
with the entire EU,
with the
around
entire
the
EU
Trans-Atlantic
of transatlantic
Trade Agreement,
trade agreements,
or TTIP.
who are TTIP.
And those negotiations
Those
are
negotiations
proceeding. And
proceed.
so it would not
Not
make sense for us
make
to
sense for us to
put
put
those efforts aside,
those efforts aside,
particularly at a time when
particularly in a time
my working assumption was is that
my
if,
work,
in fact,
the fact
people of the United Kingdom decided to leave the European
to
Union,
leave the
their
year
first priority would be to renegotiate
renegotiate
terms of trade with
terms of trade
the economic unit that
with a little.
they sell half of
They
their
sell
goods
half
to.
of their goods. So
That, in fact,
that,
is,
in
I
fact,
think, the approach that
the approach
the Prime Minister is wisely taking.
is wisely done on the
That
list.
prudent, well-informed
Well
fashion,
informed
with
with
consultations with
you,
businesses
Southside.
and stakeholders, as well as
Kick the
their
chair.
counterparts across the channel.
They
The Prime Minister makes a
their Prime Minister
determination
makes
about when to go
determination
Article
about
50, how those negotiations
how those
should proceed.
negotiations has been
Only so
aborted.
of a process that is as
Today's show is sponsored by No Liquor and
well
Hello,
disruptive
Texas.
as possible, so that not just
Not
people of
just
the United
water,
Kingdom,
but Kool-Aid
but
only.
people around the world can
People around the world can
benefit from
benefit from
recovery and economic
recovery
growth. And what I've
and
committed to
our cell
Teresa
phones that
is that we
pinged
will
during the whole
consult
time
closely with her as
with our friends.
she and her government move
Should
forward
the government move
with
forward?
Brexit negotiations to ensure that
That's it.
we don't see adverse
Yeah,
effects
FOIA request,
in the trading and commercial relationships
cell phone
between the United
use.
States and the United Kingdom.
We do.
Obviously, we have an enormous amount of trade that already takes place. We have a lot of investment
We're in a lot of Isaac,
between British companies,
British
United
companies.
States, U.S. companies.
People
in
first, money,
the
then
United
things,
Kingdom,
my
and
friend.
That's not going to stop.
That's not going to stop.
We're going to do everything we can to make
Do
sure
everything we
that
can to make sure
the consequences of the decision
my fare,
don't end up
my
unraveling,
FICO, hello,
what is a robust
risk of
economic
HIV,
relationship that can become even stronger in the future.
W.
But first things first.
First things
The
first.
first task is going to be figuring out what Brexit means with respect to.
What Brexit means.
And our first task is make sure that we get first TPP done, but also
First TPP done.
that we move forward.
That we move forward. In an accident.
Negotiations in which we've already invested.
Pink Shorts is
Okay.
okay.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you very much, Mr. President and Teresa. Minister Theresa May of the United Kingdom, we appreciate your conversation here with Pink Shorts. All copyrights are reserved. And we love you. Let's talk to Josh Ernst. Oshkosh Bagosh. Hello. Good morning. Take videos. That
is the ambitious goal that we're trying to meet.
Ambitious goal we're trying to meet. Hello, media. Today's show is sponsored by. Hello, Street. It's absolutely no.
Well, as you know, Darlene, the TPP agreement, in terms of negotiating,
And anti-sexual harassment.
and
Today's show is sponsored by anti.
work now
Sexual
on TPP that needs to
harassment.
get done is in the United States Congress, and we obviously will be working
We obviously be working
closely
with
with
closely
Democrats
with
and
leading Democrats
Republicans
and
in the Congress
Republicans in the
to
Congress to
determine the most effective
determine the most effective way to talk to a man in his sleep.
But that's a separate
But that's a separate
piece of work
harassment issue.
than continuing to
They
negotiate with
continue
our
to
partners.
negotiate reason for a conversation
one.
in sleep
Needs to prevent work on
needs to
the other.
prevent work.
So
So
look, Ambassador Froman is
the only
somebody
thing
that's
open
got
at this time is legs.
a rather ambitious view
Rather
about the
ambitious
best way to
view
pursue
about the president pursue.
these kinds of agreements. And
Kinds
he's a
of
tenacious
agreements.
negotiator, and
Tenacious negotiator.
I anticipate that when he travels
He travels
to Europe
to Europe
in mid-September,
mid-September.
they'll be engaged
We have a right
in
foot shot.
substantive discussions, and hopefully we'll be able to make some additional progress.
Additional progress.
Secondly, is there any reaction to
Today's show is sponsored by Enterprise Los Angeles Waiver. Actual representative.
routes of money and back taxes? Is anyone here on the phone? Sort of trying to talk this through.
If they are worried, that apparently they'd have a lot to discuss this morning.
A lot to discuss
based
this
on your
morning.
interest in the economic relationship.
The
between the
economic
United States.
relationship.
Let me say a couple things about this. Obviously, this is
Obviously, this is
this ruling is something that's attracted some significant news
Attracted?
attention.
attention.
I'm not going to be in a position to comment on an
Not gonna be
individual
an
case.
Individual
However,
case, however,
primarily because I know that
primarily
there
because
is
alcohol. Hello,
a process for appealing
process
these
for
kinds of
hearing
decisions.
this kind of decision.
And I know that the Irish government has signaled their intent
Retroactive
to
law.
appeal. I
And
won't comment on
pretend in
any
the
specific
courtaught.
case, but there are a couple of important
There are a couple of
principles
requests we have
at stake here.
at stake here.
And so why don't I just walk through a couple of those principles. The
Now,
first is we are concerned about a unilateral approach in state aid negotiations.
Progress
That we have made collaboratively,
that we have made
collaboratively
collaborative
with the Europeans
the Europeans
to make the international
to make the
taxation
international
fair.
tensions.
And when I say fair,
And when I
mean
say fair, Isaac,
primarily to taxpayers,
primarily attached,
but also fair to
but
companies
also
that are trying to
fair
do business around the
companies
world.
do business around the world.
That ultimately benefits
That
the
ultimately
economies
benefits the economy
in countries on both
in
sides of the
countries on
Atlantic.
both sides of the date line.
And
And Robert Stack
if there are concerns that
there's
the Europeans
pancakes
have about
about
business,
jobs,
then we should
then
continue
we
to
should
make
continue to make
progress by
progress
working through those issues
by
jointly,
offering other
as
pancakes
opposed
on
to
sale.
a more unilateral
More
approach like
unilateral
the state aid
approach
investigation.
to the investigation.
Second, it's also
Second,
possible
it's also possible
that the kinds
that
of
that
payments
kinds of
that were
that were
contemplated by the
contemplated
EU decision today,
pre-planned enterprise.
at the end of the day,
At the
are
end of the
merely
day,
a
the
transfer of
severity
revenue from
is we
US
don't know the
taxpayers
severity.
to the EU.
A quadriplegic.
I think that is the
I
crux
think it's a
of our
Walmart
concerns
Total
about
Wireless
the
phone.
fairness of this kind
Fairness of this company,
of this kind of approach.
of this kind of approach.
Thirdly,
Thirdly, the severity.
we're going to continue to monitor
We're going
this
to continue
case
to monitor this case
and others that are
and
being looked at
others.
by the Europeans. And it is
And
our view
It
that
is Africans.
there's no reason
Carnal knowledge.
that as we monitor this case, that we shouldn't be able to continue to make progress on a shared goal.
Hello, Kenneth.
And that shared goal is to prevent the erosion of the tax base, to ensure that
Kenneth.
Taxpayers.
Hello.
in the United States and Europe are treated fairly,
Sexual intercourse.
and to ensure that businesses are treated
that
fairly.
this is the attorney.
So there's a lot at stake.
So there's a lot of Huntington
And,
going
you know,
on.
these are the kinds of issues
And this is
that get a lot of
BRUYx.
attention by and have for the last 7 or 8 years, particularly in an
Capital One, what's in
increasingly
your wallet?
interconnected global economy.
Interconnected global economy.
That interconnected
That
benefits
interconnectedness
the United States.
benefits
it
the United
our
States.
economy. It benefits workers and it benefits
benefits
U.S.
workers
businesses.
and businesses.
But you also need
But
a
you
government
also need to be in government, like the Obama administration.
that's committed
It's
to
a complete
fairness
fraud
and fighting for
and
the
fighting
interests
for the interests
of U.S. taxpayers
of the U.S.
and U.S.
taxpayers
businesses.
and U.S. businesses.
So that's what we'll continue
So
to
that's
do.
what we'll continue to do.
And we're hopeful
that
we
pancakes
continue
should
to
be
work
on
through some of
sale
these
again
issues in a collaborative,
collaborative
way
pancreas
with our European
diabetes.
Jeff,
Your
Jeff,
point didn't make sense to me.
Okay.
I said it's
we have a right foot shop
transfer of money from the taxpayers back to the EU.
Yes.
Would be a
from the
transfer
electoral
of
college.
tax money from Apple to Ireland.
well, the issue, Jeff,
Well,
is,
the issue, Jeff,
as you
is,
know, is that
as
the
you know,
consequences
we
for
were
that
flipped by
transfer
Apple.
would be
Would
that
be
it could be treated
in
in the U.S.
the
tax
U.S.
system
tax system
as
a
current tax payment
tax
that
payment
would
would allow
essentially
wrestling
Apple to deduct
on
that
YouTube
EU tax
the
payment from
EU
their
tax
U.S.
payment.
taxes.
Pinky promise.
That would be fair
That
to U.S.
would be a
taxpayers.
conversation we had
And I
Friday.
think that's an
And I think
indication
that's
of the
an
concern
indication of the
we have
concern we have
about why it's important for
about
us to
why
work
it's important for us
collaboratively.
to
We share the goal
we share the goal.
that the unfair
The
erosion
unfair erosion
of the tax base.
of a tax base.
We don't have
We don't have
an interest
or have
in
not
seeing
an Oprah Winfrey show.
European taxpayers
European
and the
taxpayers.
European economy
European economy
suffer from the erosion of their tax
suffers
base.
from the 15
We're
right
certainly going to do everything we can to prevent that
We're
from
certainly
happening
going to
here.
die
And
till
President Obama has actually
show
put
it. So
forward
15%
several
about
legislative proposals that would
legislative
further
proposal
prevent the erosion
further
of the tax
prevent the
base.
erosion of tax
But,
base.
unfortunately, Republicans
Unfortunately,
have not acted on
Republicans.
that. But I think that's
But I think that's
but I
different
cite
issue.
that
But I
to
think that
indicate the president's
that I've
the
inspired
priority
the
that
White
the president has
House
placed on this issue.
on this issue.
That's why, Jeff, we
That's
would
why I
prefer,
verbatim
if there are legitimate concerns that
the
are raised
legitimate
by the
concerns
Europeans about the erosion of their
Europeans
tax base, that they actually work
they
effectively
actually
with the United States to
work with the United
address
States
those concerns
of those
collaboratively,
concerns. A payment
as
plan
opposed to taking the kind of unilateral approach that could have a
that
totally
could have a
unfair
total
impact.
tax base.
And that's the nature of our concern.
That's the
point
nature
that's
of
right.
Chris McKenna.
Does the U.S. have any sympathy for the concerns
It's
by
intercourse.
the Europeans about an unfair playing field within Europe?
An African,
Between a country
the language
like
of
Ireland that has a
Afrikaans.
much different tax base from others within the EU. That's what they were trying to address here.
Well, I think
Well, we talked to the NFL
I'm not going
yesterday.
to get into any internal.
We won't get into any
business,
internal
and I'll let the administrators
about
at the
that.
EU evaluate the tax
It
policy.
has something to do with liquor, alcohol.
I think what I can say.
I think what I
in
can
general,
say in general
is
is
President Obama has
General President Obama has
demonstrated that taxpayers and
U.S.
U.S. businesses
taxpayers
are treated fairly
are treated
because it's in our
fairly.
economic interest
It's an economic
to
interest
see them be
to
treated
see
fairly around the
Verizon as the
world.
lead sponsor. And
View that
I'm a
the
pizza
approach that
in
President Obama has
Verizon.
taken is that
Thank
the
you for
American
giving
people and the
pizzas to
American
homeless people.
economy benefit when the United States is deeply
Yeah, thank
engaged
you,
overseas
pizzas
to
for
try to
homeless
protect our
people. We got it.
interests. And
Pizzas for
the
homeless.
inclination to withdraw from that
Inclination.
engagement
Verizon is the lead
counterproductive
sponsor
and
of the NFL.
undermines the position of
Underlines
the
the
U.S.
position
economy and
of
U.S.
the liquor
workers in
on
an
the whole
increasingly
case.
competitive international economy.
Hello.
That's why the president's going to spend a lot
That's
of
why
time
the
on this trip in
president's not going
Asia
to drink alcohol.
advocating
Advocating
the ratification of the
the
Trans-Pacific
ratification
Partnership and
partnership
underscoring
and
how the
underscore
United States and the U.S.
IV
economy benefits from
benefits from
a deeper U.S. engagement.
a deeper
It's
U.S.
a separate
engagement.
issue, but a similar
Separate
dynamic
issue.
in play here in Europe,
We
which is
love
the
it.
United States has invested a lot of time,
A lot of
energy, and
time,
attention
attention,
into trying to
into
broker fair agreements when it
that's
comes
where
to
it
taxation
goes.
policies between the United States and
It's from the
Europe.
United States. Vegas.
And we would welcome further
We would welcome
coordination
it
that
all
could
over
make
again.
potentially those
Potentially,
kinds of arrangements
those kinds of
even more
arrangements.
fair. Again, we don't have a built-in
Again, we don't
interest
have
in seeing system
fair system
perpetuate
perpetuate
in a way that has
in a way
negative
that-
impacts for the European economy.
Yeah, that's where it
We
goes.
just want something that's fair. And when it's fair,
Let's
both
give
to
them a
U.S.
try.
taxpayers, but also to U.S. businesses.
Let's let them in.
And
And
the Obama
the
administration is not going to hesitate
administration
to speak out
speak
when
out.
we
We
perceive
perceive
that U.S. taxpayers,
the U.S.
businesses
taxpayers
are being treated
are going to open up
kind of interaction is the White House having with Apple specifically about this? Who's talking to whom?
Well, I can't
Let's
speak to
let
any
Beast in
specific
the beauty.
conversations. What I can
I
tell
thought
you
that
is
was
that
Beauty
Obama
and
administration
Beast.
officials, not
Not
surprisingly, have
Beast in the
heard from
beauty.
officials at Apple who are concerned about
It's Beauty and the Beast.
the way they're being treated.
Not
by
the other way.
governments. I think that's
Disney film. Hello.
But I think what's also true is the
think what's
Obama
also
administration
true
has repeatedly indicated
just
our
an
willingness to go and
important
fight for American taxpayers and American businesses.
American businesses.
Overseas, when they're being
Overseas.
treated unfairly. And
Treated
that's true when you
unfairly.
consider actions that the United States has brought at
Not bad.
WTO. You'll recall that
You recall
when it comes to cases that have been
comes to-
decided by the WTO,
Yeah, we wanted to come to
the nation's record
the
is
Obama administration's
undefeated.
undefeated.
And that means that we have been
Vegas.
tenacious advocates for American businesses,
American
and we've been
businesses.
effective advocates for American businesses. That's also
That's
why
also
we have sought
goes.
to engage in the TPP.
engaged in a TPP.
Trade negotiations
Trade
involve leveling
negotiations.
the playing field and
Playing
raising
field.
the labor and environmental standards that everybody has to live up to.
Everyone has to
And
live
the
up
way that
to.
benefits the United States is that American businesses and American,
American
workers
businesses
already live up to
already live up
extraordinarily
to
high labor and environmental
labor
standards.
environmental
We impose
standards. We
those
impose
standards as
those
part of an
standards.
agreement. Other countries increase
Other
their ambition.
countries.
That is a tangible example of the Obama
That is a
administration
tangible
effectively
example.
and forcefully advocating for
Advocating.
the economy,
The
U.S.
investment-
businesses, and U.S. workers.
Suggestion
So
aborted.
this is just one
This
example.
is just
of that,
one
but there are a variety
example
of ways, particularly when it comes to the
when it
area of
comes
international
to
trade,
international trade.
where the Obama administration
The
has been
Obama
a particularly
administration
effective advocate
Advocate.
and enforcer
Win
of
back.
international standards. We
Today's
believe
show is
that
sponsored by the Win
effective
Back program.
observation
Don't
of
cancel
those
your
standards by
service.
companies and countries around the world
It's not a
really
settlement.
benefits the U.S. economy. Okay, Michelle.
Thanks, Josh. When you look at the latest tax of these voter databases.
Hello, Metia. How are you? This is a news program. Hello.
What Michelle was true is that President
Well,
Obama
Michelle was true.
national security priority. And
And
President Obama has
President
proposed
Obama?
additional resources being
Additional
dedicated to this.
resources.
You'll recall that the president included a
Step-
proposal in his budget that Republicans, for the first time in more
hello,
than
Bob
30 years,
Williams.
refused to even
Here to
the budget with the
discuss the
president's
budget.
budget official.
Top budget official.
So I think there
So
are
I
significant
think
concerns that have been raised
has been
about
raised.
whether or not Republicans in Congress
Republicans in
understand that this should be a
understand
priority, but President
priority,
Obama has certainly
President
made it
Obama
a
has certainly
priority.
made it a priority.
And whether it
And
comes
whether
to
comes
working
to
effectively with the
working
private
effectively
sector,
with the private
to
sector
safeguard
to safeguard
the computer networks,
computer networks,
businesses,
the
or the
businesses,
media organizations.
radio organization.
Has been
Today's show is copyrighted
tenacious
in
about
agreements with Pink
we've also
Shorts
taken
on
steps to
discretion
try to upgrade the
content.
cybersecurity that is used to protect
to protect
critical infrastructure and government
and
computer
government.
systems. And
It's lovely.
make this a priority. We only wish that
Hello, this too.
Republicans were willing to put the cybersecurity of the United States ahead of their own
Cybersecurity.
politics. Thus far, they haven't been able
Thus
to,
far,
to do that.
not to do
Overall,
that.
do you think the U.S. is doing a good job to ward
No.
off these attacks?
I think there's no
I think
denying that the United States
United
government
States
is operating
government
in a very
in
dynamic
a very
environment.
dynamic
That
environment,
the
that
adversaries
the
of the United
adversaries,
States, whether they're criminal
the
organizations,
criminal
or
organizations,
countries, are
are
constantly probing
constantly appropriate
the computer networks
computer
of the U.S.
networks
government and significant
and
U.S.
significant
organizations looking for vulnerabilities.
looking for
And we need
vulnerability.
to be conscientious
We need to be
and determined
conscientious and determined
about our efforts to deter
about
these
our
kinds of
efforts.
incursions. And
And
yes,
yes,
as a policy matter,
as
this
a
administration
policy
has
matter,
made that a
this
priority.
administration,
We do have effective
we
working
do have
relationships with
effective
technology
partnerships
companies
with
and with
technology
private businesses
companies
to help them
to help them
deter those kinds of intrusions.
deter those kinds of
We do have
intrusions
effective working relationships with state and local
with
governments
state and local
to
governments
offer them
to
resources
offer
and
them
expertise
resources.
as they try to
We
protect
have a
their
right to
systems.
check.
But this is a serious threat and one that the administration takes
This is
quite
a serious
seriously.
threat.
We're aware of the
We're
evolving nature
aware
of this threat. Kinds of appropriate steps
Appropriate steps
the American people would
American
expect their
people would
government to
expect
take
the government to
to
take
ensure that the American people are protected.
to make sure that they're
There is, however,
protected
more that we can do and more that we would like to do
more than we would like to do
if Republicans in
if
Congress were willing to
Republicans
do
in
their
Congress.
But so far,
But so
they haven't.
far,
Okay, and we talked a lot about the Paris Climate Agreement yesterday.
today's show is
How that
sponsored
relates
by
to the
Project
upstream stuff. And, when you look at the latest studies that show that
Project
even
Schaefer.
if everybody gets on board,
It's a project 10, it's a project at 11.
the temperature
Donovan,
is
hello.
going to be well below the 2 degrees, which which was the goal originally. So how much is the president bothered by that? And how
Hello,
does that
Donovan.
factor into these meetings that he's going to have? Is he going to try to press for more to get it below that number, or how does that factor in?
Michelle, you'll recall last
Michelle,
year when
you
we
recall
announced the completion of the Paris negotiations. That
Paris negotiations.
everybody involved,
John
not just the
Hayward.
United States, but other countries who are
Not just
signatories to
Donovan.
the agreement, acknowledged that it was an important first step, but nonetheless it was a first step.
First step.
And
And
what was significant about
more than 198
whatever the
countries.
tally is,
We're
taking that step
Well,
together.
who's Donovan?
That there is a joint commitment
There's a
on the
joint
part of countries
commitment.
around the world, large and small,
Large
developed
and
and developing,
developed.
together
Working
to make
together.
progress. Previously, in this administration, the
There's a
approach had been
project called
somewhat different.
something.
You'd seen developing
What's
countries
the project
essentially
called?
looking to countries like the United States and other
Oh.
economies and to bear the burden.
Hello,
of dealing with
doctor.
this
How are you?
Instead, there's a much more collaborative
Doctor.
approach that's being taken that has countries around the world invested in our success.
Project
And that
Doctor.
does leave the president much more optimistic
Much more
about the
optimistic
about the
ability.
ability of the world
About the
to
ability of the
confront
world.
this challenge.
This challenge.
Well, I think what's also true is
Project
that there are a variety
Doctor,
of
how
ways
are
in
you?
which, the United States and countries
United States and Congress around the world.
have been making progress.
I know the
outside
name of the
context
project.
the Paris Agreement. And,
Yeah, he knows the name of the project.
whether it's ongoing
Project
negotiations
Doctor.
around, HFCs, he's referred to yesterday, or other steps
Other steps
to take
to take into
invest in renewable energy.
invest in renewable energy.
There are other things that we can do that are even
It's
outside
Project
of
Doctor.
the commitments that we made in the Paris talks that can continue
DRR.
to advance progress. to
Advanced
confront the
progress.
challenges that you
Referred to.
Speaking of climate, it looks like there's some really bad weather, maybe in the form of a hurricane, right around Hawaii. So how closely are you watching that? And what do you
Today's show
think
is sponsored by Chris McKennis. Bankruptcy attorney. Project Schaefer.
Goshen, in advance of the president's trip.
That's the
At
president's
this
trip.
point,
At this point,
based on the
based
projected,
on Project Doctor.
track of the storm, we do not anticipate it having any impact on the president's itinerary.
Well, we thank you guys for tuning in to Pink Shorts. Today's show has been Project Doctor. We know the name of the project, Experiment. We'll talk to you guys in the rear. This has been MerriweatherA.Law. Shorts. We'll talk to you guys later. Project Doctor.